Hi there, and welcome to the Curious Collective podcast. Conversations designed for the conscious community to bring awareness to those holistic practices that help us live our best life. So, tap into the knowledge and wisdom of our guests to heal, transform, and live as your true soulful self. So, I am absolutely honored to have with us today the beautiful Jess, who is from Love and Time Ayurveda, so Ayurvedic medicine. So, this is a modality we have not yet had on the podcast, and I had the pleasure of meeting Jess at one of our Mind, Body, Soul retreats, and was intrigued from the moment she said what she did to learn more about it. So it's so wonderful to have you here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Kate. Thanks for having me.
So can you please share with us just what is Ayurveda and what is it that you do, and why do you love it so much?
So Ayurveda means science of life or knowledge of life. It's over 5,000 years old. It has its roots in India. So Ayurveda looks at keeping in balance with nature. So within nature, we have the 5 elements, and within us, we have those 5 elements as well. So we're all born with a unique blueprint or a dosha. And through just everyday lifestyle and diet and things, we can become out of balance with our natural dosha. And Ayurveda gives us some tools and knowledge how to stay in balance with our blueprint, but also in balance with the season, because each season is a different time that we need to adjust things to stay in balance. Even the time of the day is broken up into those elements as well, the Pitta, Vata, Kapha. So Ayurveda gives you guidance as to when to eat your meals and things like that, and the times of the day you should go to bed, and to stay in balance.
Yeah, I love that. So the things that stood out to me there were that the elements are within us. Like we have those elements within us. I'm like, oh, wow, tell me more. And breaking up the day as per the doshas, like, wow. And it would be great because I'm someone who just loves guidance around bringing myself into balance. That's why I've sort of studied the chakras. But to know when is the best times to eat to suit my body would be amazing.
Yeah. So when we talk about 5 elements, we have 3 doshas and those 5 elements in the 3 doshas. So we have Vata, which is space and air. And then we have fire, which is, Pitta is fire and water. Vata is space and air, and Kapha is air, earth and water. And then the seasons are also broken up into those as well. So right now we're in autumn, that's Vata time. Summer is Pitta time, winter is Kapha time. So
makes sense for those that, live in Victoria and they're like, oh, I could never live in Queensland. It's just too hot. I'm like, oh my gosh, I could never live in Victoria. It's way too cold.
Yes, yeah. So if you're a naturally more Vata dominated person, you will not like cold because you're naturally already got that cold element within you. And if you're Pitta being fire, you're not going to like being too hot. You would prefer to be cooler. Yeah.
And your body might object should you choose to live in hot climates and subject yourself to that.
Yes, yeah. So your Pitta can get out of balance, and then you're going to have excess heat in your body. Excess heat can then create skin irritations, reflux, all those heating elements.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, fascinating. All these sorts of things you can find out. And so you've got a business where you do Ayurvedic medicine. Is it Love and Time?
Yes, Love and Time Ayurveda. I've done my diploma with AIS and opened my business, seeing clients with what I've learned, and I'm still currently furthering my knowledge by doing my advanced diploma as well.
Oh, that's awesome. And so tell me, what got you on this path? Like when I met you, saw the passion of this Ayurveda shine through you. And since having talks with you recently, knowing as well, like what brought you to this point?
So there's a bit of a story. I am ex-military and my husband's military, so we've moved around. Movement is naturally vata aggravating. When we were in Darwin, I'd had my 3 children and I just wanted to, you know, tone up and do some exercise, and I joined a fitness group. And then I just got more and more involved in it to the point where I was exercising morning and night, plus I joined the gym, plus I was running in my own time.
Whoa.
Just, yeah, took
You
it
loved
to a
it.
took it to a new level. The more I did it, the more I wanted to do it, I think. But looking back now, I think knowing what I do know now, that was a lot of me trying to dealing with my suppressed emotions. So that's kind of how I did that, which wasn't great. But in the process of all that excessive exercise, my menstrual cycle stopped. And I didn't think too much of it at the time. And then when I went to a doctor, I was just told, you know, stop the exercise, put on some weight, and it'll be fine. But I just carried on with the exercise at the time. And then I finally did realize, no, I need to do something. So I did cut back down on my exercise and put more focus back into my work and my kids. But my period still didn't come back. And then we moved again, moved to WA. And I gave up all the excessive exercise, no more weights and running. I just went to walking and yoga. And that was a really tough time in WA. I had lots of emotional things happening. So I ended up going to counselling, and it was my counsellor who also did yoga and said, have you heard of Ayurveda? And I hadn't at that time. And I looked into Ayurveda, but there wasn't really anywhere in Perth that I could learn or go to. So I just did my own, like reading books and things like that. And then I continued going to GPs about my menstrual cycle disappearing. And the same story, they did blood tests, and I just got told, you've got no estrogen, put on some weight. Then I went to an endocrinologist, and he was instantly concerned for my bones because I wasn't producing estrogen, and estrogen helps protect your bones. So he sent me for a bone scan, and at that time, he said, you've got osteopenia, so you're borderline osteoporosis, and if you don't do something, you'll end up with osteoporosis. But I still wasn't wanting to go down that road of taking HRT, which was his answer. So I said no. And then when I went back for another checkup, and he sent me for another scan, I had osteoporosis this time. It had progressed. My bones had worsened. I got osteoporosis in my spine and my hip. And so he said, you know, let's admit you into hospital and feed you through a drip, get some weight on you, and then get you on the HRT. Because if you don't do something, your bones are just going to keep disintegrating, and you'll end up in a wheelchair, and you know, just scare tactics.
Oh, horrible! I just got this horrible taste in my mouth as you're talking about it.
Yes, yeah, definitely scare tactics, to the point where I literally thought I had no choice. So here we go. I take the HRT, disliking every minute of it. My period still didn't come back, and then we moved to Queensland, and I got sent to another specialist. So she upped my estrogen. She did blood tests. My estrogens were still like non-existent, basically. So she put me on high-dose estrogen. And
your poor body. Oh my goodness.
Yes, the side effects of that weren't great either. And so, you know, I really felt my mental health wasn't very good, and not what I needed. And then I thought, you know, I'd been in counselling in Perth for some issues, and then moved here, and I wasn't really loving it here. And I thought, I've got to find my passion again. I've got to get back on track. So I went searching and found AIS was teaching Ayurveda, and I went, okay,
that's it.
This is singing to me, and I've got to check this out. And I started studying, and I met my teacher, Dr. Ajit, and then I made an appointment with him. And I said, I've been to GPs, I've been to specialists, I've been to naturopaths. I went to naturopaths in Perth as well. Nothing is helping me. So, put me on an Ayurvedic program and I will follow it to a T. And I did. I followed it to a T. Everything that I had to get rid of, I did, and made all the changes. And 4 months later, my period returned.
Yes.
And I've kept my period now for 2 years. And I don't have, my estrogen is like through the roof high. The last blood test I had, my endocrinologist said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, because
it's so good when specialists
estrogen...
don't know what's doing it, but you're like, I know.
Yeah. So I've just kept, completely got rid of the HRT, just following pure Ayurvedic lifestyle, and getting my cycle back was huge, and I was just so grateful for that. But then since then, just so much other changes have happened too. I feel calmer. I can deal with things much easier. Before, I was a suppress my emotion type person. Don't just let it all bottle up, and then something would happen. It would kind of be like 12 months of emotions come spilling out. But now deal with it every day, and I definitely feel calmer for that, and the anxieties come down, and definitely a much better place than I was.
Was your body out of balance because of what dosha are you, and what was excessive or out of balance?
Yes, so I'm naturally born a Pitta Vata. We all are usually 2 doshas. We have all the doshas within us, but usually 2 are dominant. So I'm Pitta Vata, but I had a long-standing Vata imbalance, and that's from lots of things. Right from childhood, I had anxiety in my childhood, through to constant moving within the military, having 3 children. Giving birth is naturally Vata aggravating, just because your baby comes from you, and you grow that baby, so it's quite depleting, and I didn't allow for that. I just straight back
cracked
into
on.
Less than 24 hours in the hospital and back to doing things. I had my father pass away, and I didn't allow myself time to grieve for that. I just kept going. So, and then my diet and lifestyle of lots of salads and smoothies, lots of cold water, all these things that I thought were really good for me, weren't good for me. But I didn't realize that until Ayurveda, because cold, dry, rough aggravate Vata. So for me, I need warm, cooked, nourishing. So out went the salads and the smoothies and the cold water and all those things.
And when you can support yourself so much better to that sort of cellular level.
Yes, it's all about bringing your body's natural intelligence back.
So your body, once in balance, was able to help heal itself through feeling, the energy flowing a lot better.
Yes, So Ayurveda looks, to treat the root cause of disease. So not just here's some HRT and, mask the symptoms. And no one could tell me why my period stopped. They just said, oh, you're too skinny, put on some weight. But no one could answer my question when I would say, but why? Like I'm naturally quite a small person anyway, so I didn't understand that. Whereas, Dr. Ajit, and in Ayurveda, you you will be asked lots and lots of questions about your diet, your lifestyle. Your pulse will be taken. You look at your tongue, your eyes. Get a whole big picture of what's going on, and then treat from the root cause rather than just, putting
Oh,
a
I
Band-Aid
love
on
that.
it.
I love that so much. And, being treated from that root cause too helps to empower people to be able to support themselves, knowing and understanding their bodies better. For those
Yeah.
listeners that don't know what HRT is, it's hormone replacement therapy. So can you imagine, your body being inundated with hormones that aren't naturally being produced within it? Like it just blows my mind that that would be the first resort. But yeah, thank you for sharing. And how do you find out? Like, I'd love to know in time what my dosha is. How do people find that out?
Yep. So you can find out your dosha is a combination of some things. A questionnaire where we look at your physical appearance, your personality, your emotions, all those types of things, and then your pulse as well. You can determine your dosha from your pulse. When you do pulse in Ayurveda, you use 3 fingers, and each finger, you have a pitta vata kapha finger, and you'll feel different elements within that pulse to determine your dosha, as well as taking into account your appearance and your emotions and personality as well.
That fascinates me that you can feel it through the pulse. That just blows my mind.
Yes.
So when you started incorporating this Ayurveda into your life, did your family sort of try some of it as well?
Yes. So because I've always loved natural health and been very conscious of diet. So, I did eat lots of salads and smoothies and that kind of thing, thinking I was doing a great thing. And we'd already naturally cut out, well, not cut out, but cut down on meat and things like that, and tried to have a pretty healthy diet. And then with Ayurveda, I ended up giving up coffee, alcohol, and I'm now a vegetarian. I wasn't at the beginning, but that's not something you have to do to be Ayurvedic. That's just the road I went down. But my family have supported me as well. So they have taken this on board, and my daughter's vegetarian, my husband and sons eat predominantly vegetarian and Ayurvedic. But if they go out on the weekends and things like that, they will eat what they like.
Get a chicken schnitzel.
Yeah. They will cook their own thing on the weekend, but predominantly they do follow a very Ayurvedic lifestyle. And I've taught my daughter had eczema. So
it's so common, the eczema.
Yes, yeah. So eczema is an imbalance in the blood. So there's imbalance in pitta. So treating the blood and the liver is very important. So diet and some herbs that support the liver for her as well. Certain oils and ointments on topically as well for her, and her eczema has really calmed down. And my eldest son has been a sinusy hay fever child his whole life, but also very much a lover of cheese and bread and those more heavy, sticky foods.
That's
as
my
well.
son too.
So sinus issues are generally kapha imbalance, and kapha is aggravated by sticky, heavy, moist. So the diet changes for Thomas has been great. He's really cut down on all of those kinds of foods. Plus, he's doing some of the Ayurvedic routines. He brushes his teeth, scrapes his tongue, has a detox drink, some steam inhalation. And through these things, he's really cut down on the issues that he has. We used to go through boxes and boxes of tissues, but now, he'll get a little bit of a nasal drip here and there, but nothing like he used to.
Oh, that'd be
It's
so
been a
great
huge
for him.
improvement.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It would be so
yeah.
frustrating to have that constantly.
And he's noticed just how much he's improved. So
Yeah.
even as a teenage boy, he knows when he's doing all the right things how great he feels, and if he's falls off track, and things start to build up again, he realizes as well, and then it's back on. Okay, so
Absolutely. That's a great way to
yeah.
embody the knowledge, I feel, is to actually experience its effects.
Yes, yeah, it's great. Definitely that it's Ayurveda teaches you, but then it's up to you to implement and live that life, and then you realize how good you feel when you're doing certain things, and then if you fall off track, how you feel then as well. So
Yeah.
you've got the power,
Ooh, I got
definitely.
goosies when you said that. That's the best. And so you mentioned just before some daily practices. What are some of the daily practices that you have now you've incorporated this into your home?
Yeah, so just a few of them. Brush your teeth and scrape your tongue in the morning. When you sleep overnight, your body naturally does its cleaning process. And if you look at your tongue in the mirror in the morning, you'll notice there's a coating. And if you get up and start eating and drinking straight away, that coating, which is toxins or armor, gets swallowed, and then it can deposit within the body. So
Oh,
brushing and
interesting.
scraping is
So many people wouldn't even know about that.
no. A detox drink in the morning after that, just to cleanse the system, get rid of any build-up that's there, of ginger, lemon, and honey in warm water,
Delicious.
and full body massage. Just such a great nurturing thing to do. It's great for the lymphatic system, but it's also just such a it's that touch. I find that warm oil really helps with the lymph and really helps with that dry skin as well.
And I guess energetically, it helps to put you back in your body to sort of ground you into your physical being for the day ahead as well.
Yes, yeah, and you've got certain energy points within the body mama points. So if you're, massaging your head or your feet, your hands, certain mama points that will help calm the nervous system. So, particularly my daughter doesn't always sleep the greatest, but if I massage her hands and feet and her head before bed, she just drifts off
Yes.
so much easier,
Yeah.
So that really helps as well. Deep breathing has been another big thing for me. I didn't realize just how shallow I breathe, and I never really looked at my breath before, and the importance of deep breathing and making time for that regularly throughout the day, not just once.
Yeah. Yeah. Really honoring that breath is your medicine type thing, like really breathing it deeply. Yeah. So
Yeah.
powerful.
Yes. Yeah.
I love the breath.
Yeah. Yes, it is so powerful. Yeah. Then, with daily routines, depending on the time of year and things like that. So now it's autumn time, it's very drying. It's the time of year you'll get quite ungrounded. So warm cooked nourishing food is always the best at this time of year. Yoga and walking, great grounding exercises. And again, Ayurveda says exercise daily, but not, trying to avoid the gym where you're fighting with the machines. If you're walking out in nature, not only are you getting the benefits of exercise, but you're also getting the benefits of being in nature. So automatically
Absolutely.
it's decreasing the stress, calming the nervous system.
I love that.
Yeah. Ayurveda says to look after all your senses. So all the routines that we do are based on looking after those senses. So there's eye care, nose care, ear care.
Oh,
Just
wow.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I guess as well, what's coming up for me is just enjoying silence every now and then, not having to listen to something, or, you know, be talking, just be still and just be silent. That feels good.
Yes, some open eye candle meditation or something like that. Just, 10 minutes of in the morning of just staring at the candle and just silence and letting the mind be still.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
So you, within your practice, do some Ayurvedic techniques as well. Did you want to share those with the listeners?
For treatments, yeah. So within my business, I see people for consultations, which can be any kind of health concern, mental, physical, emotional. I also do treatments, Shirodara, which Shirodara means head and flow. So warm oil is poured on the third eye area, and it's a steady flow of oil down a rope, and it goes across the forehead and up and down, but mainly focusing on that third eye area. And the reason for that is the third eye area is where your pituitary and pineal glands are, and they are the master glands of the body. They regulate hormones. So any kind of hormone imbalance, Shirodara is great for, and any kind of mental element, stress, anxiety, depression, Shirodara is the treatment for that.
Awesome. I'd actually never heard of it before. I love that word, Shirodara.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah. I do another treatment called Kadi Basti. There's Kadi Basti or Griva Basti. It just depends on where it goes. Kadi is the lower spine, Griva is the neck, and Basti means the dough, which is the dam that fills the oil or holds the oil. So I make a dough like a donut with high sides, and that can get placed anywhere along the back and the spine. Gets filled with warm oil, and then a massage is given afterwards, and really focuses on any of those musculoskeletal problems. I've had clients who are builders or defense with bad backs, and they really do notice the difference with having a Griva Basti or a Kadi Basti.
Oh, it sounds amazing. And the warm oil would just be so nourishing.
Yes, yeah. I do full body massage with the warm oil as well. And again, with our oils, you have pitta oil, vata oil, kapha oil. So the oil that you use also depends on your constitution or your imbalance, or even the time of year. So this time of year, I usually like to go with vata oil because it's vata season. We need that grounding.
Yeah, absolutely. And the warm soups is what I'm getting. Warm soups and coming to you for warm oil massages. I'm in.
Yes, definitely. It's all about warmth at this time of year.
Yeah, and like where we are in the world now, we've got listeners internationally, but where we are in Brisbane and wider areas, we feel like it's really cold. It's not actually. It's probably only about 10 degrees.
Yes, yeah, it's not cold.
But I've got my tracksuit pants on. But yeah, so definitely keeping my body warm and not eating cold foods or drinking cold water. That's been a learning I've gained from you today, because I'm one of those people. I'm like, yeah, I'll just have a salad or a cucumber or an apple.
Yes, yeah. We naturally think salads are the best choice for us, but they are quite cold, dry, and rough and difficult to digest. So warm, cooked, and nourishing is easier on the digestive system, and a lot of disease and stems from an imbalance in the digestive fire. So we really like to focus on having a good digestive fire.
Absolutely. And is that when people refer to, say, gut health?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a huge thing. And so I feel undereducated or spoken about within the, medical system. Is that gut health, and how do we support that, and where do we actually even start? So Ayurveda does sort of supports that root cause as well.
Yes, yeah, it's all about digestive health. Ayurveda really focuses on that. We look at the 6 tastes and how important that is in our daily life. And your digestive fire, you can eat organic foods and amazing, wonderful foods, but if your digestive system isn't working to its optimum, it doesn't matter, because you're not going to absorb those nutrients anyway. So the importance of having a well-functioning digestive system, so you can absorb the nutrients that you need, because that is what's going to feed all your tissues. So if you're not absorbing, you're going to end up depleted. So tired, fatigued, and
the bags under the eyes. Yeah.
Yes, and I realized that myself in my situation, that I've always been a smaller build, but I did lose weight at that time, and I was eating, and because I'd lost weight and everyone was telling me I needed to put on weight, I was overcompensating, eating too much, and now I realize, and I've learned to eat better, that you don't need to eat excessive amounts to gain weight. It's about having that digestive fire, well-balanced system. And I have slowly gained weight, but in a slow way and in a healthy way.
Yeah, like the body wants to. The body is saying, yes, this is what I choose right now. Thank you for nourishing me.
Yes, definitely. And I know how depleted I was, because my skin was so dry, my hair was dry, everything was dry. So I really needed that oileation and that love inside and out.
Yeah, and I love that you spoke into those things that you'd noticed about yourself too, because I have had so many conversations lately where people are talking about parts of their body that are sort of saying no. So, hair's falling out, or nails are breaking, or skin's dry. And I'm like, look deeper, like maybe the body's trying to tell you something.
Yes, yeah. So they're all the things that we look at in Ayurveda. We look at the nails, and we look at eyes, the tongue. The tongue can tell you so much as well. Pulse, hair, everything. It all will tell you a story.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I absolutely love that. So I know you will have intrigued a lot of the listeners. So if people are wanting to learn more about Ayurveda, what advice would you have for them?
So you can find an Ayurvedic practitioner to go see. If you're not that keen to go straight to an Ayurvedic practitioner, you just want to read a book to get a better understanding. David Frawley has some great books. Dr. Ajit has also released a new book. So I can send you the names of those books.
Excellent. We'll pop them into the text of anywhere that this podcast is put, so people can do it. And with regards to seeking out a practitioner, do you have any advice around that?
So I've been taught by Dr. Ajit at AIS in Sunnybank, Brisbane. Dr. Ajit's been teaching for over 20 years, and he's very old school in his teaching, and he has a very good reputation. So a practitioner that comes from AIS is been very well trained, and just have a look at the background and the qualification of your practitioner as well.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you're going down the right path with the right people. So perfect. And so I'm very excited to see the feedback and comments from this podcast, because I know that I can even think of 5 people that are looking for something right now to sort of target a health condition from the roots. And I know that this would definitely speak to them. So is there any other things that you wanted to share with our listeners before we give our thanks to you?
No, there's nothing else to share. I'm a registered nurse and an Ayurvedic practitioner, and I have my story, and I've seen how powerful Ayurveda is, and it's really, really helped me. So definitely my passion. So if you want to know more, I'm more than happy to answer questions or give any advice or feedback. Definitely have a look at Ayurveda.
Definitely. And check out Jess's page. She's a wealth of knowledge and she's always putting up amazing posts. We would love to all thank you for your time with us today and especially for sharing your very powerful story of what brought you into the world of Ayurveda. So I know that it will inspire many others. Thank you.
Thank you.